All right, everybody. Hi, welcome to House Meeting Podcast. With me today, of course, as always, Ellen and Sam. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
This week of Big Brother I'm glad that we have this podcast.
Yeah.
It keeps me watching.
Honestly, yeah. It gets tough sometimes. I'll definitely say that. But yeah. I mean, I guess I gotta hang in there.
I still love it. It's just hard.
So I have another podcast. It's a Disneyland podcast, and Disneyland is my favorite place in the entire world. It always has been. It's been like the thing that I, growing up, any wish I would make for birthday would be that I got to go to Disneyland. Like, I love the place. And I have a podcast about it. I'm a co-host on a podcast about it, and it doesn't mean that I love everything that they do. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that I love the Disney company. And it's the same thing with Big Brother. I love Big Brother. I think it's such a great show. I think it's so fun to watch. But I don't love everything about it. And in fact, sometimes when you love something like that, you end up hating other parts of it even more because you love it so much, if that makes sense. And
yeah, you want it to be the thing that you love so much, and sometimes it doesn't exactly fit that category.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I don't like when I get to this point in the show. It happens every season, let's be honest. There's always like some sort of point in the season where the people that you don't want to win are winning, and it feels boring and it feels frustrating, and you're annoyed and irritated, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But
what's kind of interesting is like it's sort of some seasons I get like that because the only people left in the house in the final four like didn't play the game, or like we're all floaters, or like nothing happened. And I started to tell myself the other day, well, like at least they're all like pretty big players in the game. And then I'm like, well, but the reason they're all still in the game is because even though they're big players, they haven't done anything yet. I don't know. It's really frustrating for a lot of different reasons, but
yeah. They really haven't done anything, and we'll get to all of that, I suppose. Yeah. But first, I want to just ask our audience to please take a moment and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. It really helps bring us up in their weird ranking system, so that would be really helpful. And subscribe to us on YouTube. We record middays Wednesdays usually, and then middays on Fridays. So you can check us out on YouTube then, or you can wait a few hours after that. Usually we have the actual podcast up. You can also find us on social media. We're mostly on Instagram and Twitter, and we definitely peruse Reddit, but I don't know if we're really posting as ourselves on Reddit. Any feedback for the show can go to housemeetingpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're listening to us and you're having fun and you like us and you're enjoying us, or if you're mad at us in a way, like the same way that we're mad at Big Brother, go ahead and throw us some feedback. Let us know how you feel. But also, if you are enjoying it, then consider donating to the show. Running podcasts is not free. But if you have a couple extra penny in your pocket right now, you can go ahead and throw those to us at patreon.com/housemeeting. Now, before we get into our thoughts for the past week, I want to, I have a couple little news articles that I wanted to read for you guys. I had a news thing, didn't I? Didn't I do that last time? What? I didn't find that. Where did it?
Was there a song that went with it?
Yeah, there was a song.
Yeah, it was like, I think I remember, unless I made it up in my head. It was like a...
Oh, no, I do have it. Okay.
I was like, I could say something if you want.
There we go. Very important to have the news music. All right. This first article is from TMZ. Actually, they're both from TMZ, but Big Brother.
Who else is reporting on this?
Right. Big Brother.
Basically. Big Brother star Janelle Pierzina. Is that how you say her name?
I think so.
Sure.
Yes. Pizzeria.
Janelle Princess sells necklace for 18 grand, donates it to charity. So Janelle didn't last long on this season of Big Brother, but boy did she cash in, selling a necklace she wore on the show for a small fortune before putting that dough to good use. The Big Brother All-Stars contestant wore a gold-plated Janelle necklace on this season, and while she was the third house guest voted out, the necklace is now a sweet silver lining. Janelle decided to sell it on eBay, and it went for a whopping $18,300.
To someone by the name Ellen Newstead. I wish I would wear that.
She's now already won against Nicole F.
Oh,
because she has all this
100%.
time outside now to one, be a really good person.
Yeah.
Two,
Yeah.
I saw her on Twitter say she posted a link to an article about Nicole losing all of her sponsors.
Yeah.
And said something like, well, at least like everyone's on my side now. Like, I don't know. It was something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to be on Janelle's.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah.
It's not hard for sure.
Yeah, it's not hard.
But get this, Janelle, who made the top 3 on on Big Brother 7 All-Stars in 2006, decided to donate the entire proceeds to Give Kids the World Village, an 84-acre village in Central Florida that offers week-long vacations to children with critical illnesses and their families. The trips come at zero cost to the families, thanks to donations like Janelle's. The nonprofit org has catered to 175,000 children and their families since 1986. Janelle's been working with them for 5 years. CBS reality stars usually participate in the group's annual fundraiser, raising between $150,000 and $170,000, but it was canceled this year due to the pandemic. So good for Janelle.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Nicole, I think I heard, is charging $300 if you want to go to her wedding.
No.
Oh my.
No.
True.
No, let me just, it's 3,000 for one. But
Oh.
no, she's not charging to go to the wedding. It's a wedding in Turks and Caicos.
Oh.
This is
just twisted that.
Oh, it drives me nuts. Like, okay, I'm not a huge fan of Nicole this season, but also,
But that's-
like, she's not charging people to go to her freaking wedding.
Yeah, I see.
She's charging you
She's
to
just
go on a
making sure it's
vacation.
limited by
It's just-
cost, the kind of people that can show up.
But it's not even that. If you've ever been invited to a destination wedding,
Yeah,
that's how much they
totally.
cost.
Yeah.
It's all inclusive.
I didn't know it was I didn't know it was like an all-inclusive destination wedding.
All inclusive. It's destination. It's for the week. Like, get over it. I'm sorry you don't have $3,000 to go on vacation. Neither do I. But then you say, no, I'm sorry, I can't make it to your wedding. But like, she's not trying to get $3,000 from each guest.
I just
It's
thought
stupid.
that she was making people pay for like a ticket in.
Yeah, that's what everyone's making it sound like, and it's so stupid.
Yeah.
That's why I'm irritated, because I'm like, that's literally not at all what's going on. But whatever, people just want to, and this is the problem, because there are some really crappy things going on in this house. There are some really crappy people.
It distracts from it.
It does, and it makes you not be able to believe anything that anybody says.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
Okay. This next one is also from TMZ. Big Brother. CBS says Memphis Garrett didn't utter N-word after fans accuse him. So, let's.
It was in question.
When
Yeah.
did?
So
I didn't. Was this on the live feeds?
well, let's
Yeah.
let's listen to the news and you'll find out.
Oh,
Big Brother fans are calling for house guest Memphis Garrett to be removed from the competition after some say they heard him drop the N-word in reference to a black competitor. During the after hours of BB live feed late Wednesday night, Memphis was having a conversation with Cody and David, who is black. Many viewers who reacted on social media believe they heard Memphis say, "Dude, David's a N-word," before getting a hand signal from Cody to stop talking. Another camera angle shows Memphis had a look on his face right after the remark, seeming to realize he messed up big time. A Change.org petition is circulating to get Memphis removed from the show, and it says, if left unchecked, we could be witnessing real-life harm from a privileged white a-hole upon a black man who... I'm sorry, but like, you don't put a-hole in your Change.org petition. Okay, you just don't put that word. If you want it to be taken seriously, then take it seriously. Anyway, I'll go on. Harm from a privileged white a-hole upon a black man who is alone in the house after almost all the people of color have been evicted or threatened. This is not okay. First of all, get somebody else to write your change.org because you sound like an idiot yourself.
Yeah,
this isn't the first major controversy of the All-Star season of the popular CBS reality show. Just last week, Memphis, along with other house guests, were caught mocking fellow house guest Ian over his autism, blah, blah, blah. Of course, bullying and bigotry have been causes for controversy many times on Big Brother. The show's dealt with multiple racist and misogynistic issues over the year. So we've reached out to CBS about Garrett with no word back so far. Now, there's an update. As of 5:33 p.m. yesterday, I believe, CBS says Memphis did not utter the N-word on the live feed. The network tells TMZ, quote, producers have listened to the scene using enhanced audio. Additionally, the network's programming practices team isolated and played back the scene several different ways using professional studio-grade audio equipment. After close examination, it has been determined a racial epithet was not said or uttered. CBS adds, hate speech will not be tolerated, and those who violate the policy will be removed from the Big Brother house. A source connected to production tells us Memphis didn't say anything at all. Watch the video now. Well, we're not going to watch the video, but whatever. Yeah. So
did you listen to it?
I did.
Well, what did he say? This is what's weird is CBS didn't say.
But I think
you could see the clip online.
What I think he said was, and I don't know this, obviously, and I'm not trying to defend him because I don't know, but there is an argument that he said David's an idiot instead of David's N-word.
I heard something completely different. What I'll say first is I don't think that Memphis is a good guy.
No, certainly not.
I don't completely I don't think it's totally out of character for him to say something offensive on Big Brother on live feeds. That being said, I didn't hear that at all. What I heard was Cody said something like, he said, Cody said, David said Nicole said something, right? Then Memphis immediately was like, David said Nicole. That's what I heard. He started to say, and then he was like, no, it sounded like he said, I heard David said,
yeah,
as if he was repeating exactly what Cody had just said. And
which could be misconstrued to Davis I could see it.
It sound like that to me even in the slightest. Even if I wanted to have evidence that Memphis was a bad guy and was really listening for it, I feel like I wouldn't even hear that. It just didn't sound. I'm not the person to just sit here and try to give him the benefit of the doubt. It just really truly didn't sound like that to me. And just like you said earlier, talking about these things that aren't even real distract from the stuff that actually happens.
Totally.
That is real. So it's just kind of it makes everybody look dumb for calling people out for the actual racist things that they're doing.
Right. It's very annoying to me. And then you get people doing these change.orgs. So change.org is just a joke now because of people that are writing them like this, you know?
Yeah. I don't know when a change.org has actually ever made a thing happen, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning it was a more reputable thing, but now it's literally just used
for reality.
Yeah, for reality TV. So anyway,
back on the show.
Yeah, there's just that's some weird stuff going on. The Big Brother fandom is very interesting because I think that there's a lot of people. I think there are more people like us who love the show but get frustrated but are very into it, and we're writing on Twitter and we're doing all these things but at the end of the day we actually enjoy the show. And then I think that there's another group that's louder than us that likes the show but only when it's going exactly the way that they want it to go. And those are the ones that I find very irritating.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that they're so outspoken, it's just just stop watching it then.
Right.
I don't know. I don't.
That's honestly what I write to so many people. They're like, I'm just going to quit the feeds if they do this one thing. I'm like, bye. Like, just go away then.
Well, we invented this like whole hobby of just like arguing with people online, and now people are like so invested in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like every reply communication based algorithm like Twitter and Reddit all prioritize things that will be more controversial because it'll get more replies and more upvotes, downvotes, because reactionary things just have that quality.
Yes.
100%. So that's kind of the big news that's in like the news circuit right now. And then this week's episode started with, of course, Sunday's episode.
Yes.
Which was literally the most boring episode I have seen so far. I was bored to tears. Like, actually, like I really commit myself, especially with this podcast, to like watching these episodes and not messing with my phone and not doing things that I normally would do while watching TV. And I couldn't help it because this episode, to me at least, was so boring. It didn't have like, even when Big Brother's not going the way you want it to, usually the episodes have that like glimmer of like fun and like excitement, and this one just didn't for me. Half of the show was about the HOH competition, which in and of itself, like, it's a wall comp, it's a big comp, I love that comp, but Day, Memphis, Cody, Nicole all threw it, and then Danny wanted to throw it, but she ended up accidentally winning, which is also
I like it. I like it when people throw comps. I think that's what made it interesting for me, because I had watched the whole HOH competition on live feeds, and I was just like, what? Like, Devon dropped in 10 minutes? And then I was like, wait, why did so-and-so drop? Like, why did Cody drop? Like, everything was... I was really confused watching the live feeds, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me at all that people were, like, kind of playing the, like, I don't know, but I like it when, obviously it's not fun when everybody drops and then one person's left, but there's something kind of interesting, I think, about it, because it is just a choice and a game move to not be HOH. I mean, that's how Derek played the game. That's how some people like to play the game, and so, but it is interesting that they kind of all threw the comp.
Yeah. And I guess that's what it was. It's like, it's fun to watch a few people, and it was kind of cool to see that Day didn't just totally suck, that she actually did throw it, but she threw it at least the right way. If you're gonna throw the comp, jump off the wall. Like, why are you putting, like, this was my problem, is like, I think Day was the smartest one on that, of the people who wanted to throw this comp, because she threw it right away, so her muscles were not going to be sore for veto, regardless of what it was. She was going to be able to sleep that night. She wasn't going to be sore. She was only up there for 13 minutes. And then there's Cody and Nicole, who I get that they wanted to stay up at least long enough to not
Tyler.
Yeah,
they wanted Tyler to drop.
Yeah.
Danny and Nicole wanted to make sure Tyler dropped first.
Yeah, but like, if I were Cody and I didn't want to win HOH, but I also, everybody that would possibly put me up is already fallen, why are you still up there? If you're planning on throwing it anyway, like, why are you putting yourself through that? Like,
yeah, he's already at HOH, he's seen his family, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't know.
It was weird. And then I think the show editing could have done a little bit better with Danny, because she has said, I've heard her say before that she like wants HOH just to see her family and her daughter and stuff, but like, she also kept saying in DR that she didn't want to win this, and she really didn't want to win this. And it's like, I wish they had shown a little bit more of the back and forth, because I think she really did, but then they made it seem like she wanted to throw it and then accidentally didn't throw it, and I'm like, it's just not
this
computing.
was an uninteresting, like, nothing story that you think kind of made up.
Yeah, it was just sort of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny, because at first I was like, when I learned that Devon threw the comp, I was like, wow, well then, like, that was actually, like, not very good acting. She literally just dropped. But then at the same time, I didn't realize she was throwing the comp, and no one in the house realized she was throwing the comp. So it's like, maybe the best way is just like let go and flop on the ground after 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone kind of gave her a look like, oh, she just had a hard week. Like, even Christmas went up to her right after and hugged her.
Yeah.
Even though, like, they had just made up, so like it made sense. But
when you are so bad at comms to begin with, I guess you can just walk
Yeah.
right on the ground and everybody's
I
like,
did not know
that's
that about Day
Yeah.
until this episode.
Oh, poor Day.
Yeah. The only other thing that I have on my notes that happened in this episode was that David didn't know the name of Slop.
Oh, really? I missed that.
Well, I can't say what he said it was because this is a family-friendly podcast. But
What does it rhyme with?
Oat hit. The first word is oat, and the second word rhymes with hit. But it was
funny.
it was really, that's what he called it. And I was just like, and Davon was like, you mean slop? He was like, yeah.
Whatever.
I gotta say, like, if David wasn't in the house, I mean, there's a lot that goes on that is boring and unexciting and predictable. But if David wasn't in the house, it would be so much more unexciting and predictable. He is just he's so weird.
Yeah, he's such a wild card, and it affects the game, which is the best part.
Yeah, it really does. He's what do you call it? He's like chaotic neutral, I think. If
Yeah,
you look at graph,
exactly that.
he's the definition of chaotic neutral.
We should do a segment next week where we make that graph.
Yeah.
Because it represents each of those quadrants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on Tuesdays, it wasn't Wednesday this week. It was Tuesday. David used his disruptor power, which was great. Of course, I'm proud of him.
He knew last week that he would have to, which was like brilliant.
Yeah, well, and honestly, I don't have a whole lot of faith in David, so I'm proud of him that he knew he needed to use it. So that was good.
Oh wait, you guys.
I'll probably have to use it again next week.
I'm getting a message right now from David in the Big Brother house. It says, did you guys use the disruptor power?
Yes, that brings us to our other point. That
What?
David made it a massive point of his week to do his best acting and try to pin the usage of the disruptor power on anyone but himself, even though everyone knew that David...
My favorite was Cody. Cody was like, man, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
He's like, we know. Okay, man. Okay.
And then I couldn't find the clip. I was so mad. I was looking for it. But Cody's impression of David when he was in the DR. Oh, God. I love that.
Did you use it on me?
Yeah. That was just...
So entertaining. I love him in the house. I hope he can find a way to just...
It's really just
right through.
it's such trial and error with him.
At this point, like, if someone I don't like makes it to the final two, I hope they're next to Cody. Or
Yeah.
Next to David.
Next to
sorry.
David, yeah.
Next to David.
I mean, I hope at this point I hope it's David at Christmas.
Oh,
Oh
God.
my God.
Like, because Christmas would be the worst one for the rest of the committee to be the one that makes it all the way through.
Yes.
I honestly don't think I could finish doing the podcast if Christmas makes it to final two. Like,
I don't think that's gonna
I
happen.
loathe that woman after last week, and I can't help it. Like, I hate her more than Bailey. Remember how much I hated Bailey? I hate Christmas more.
If she did make it to final two, though, the best case scenario, absolute best case scenario, is she's there with David, and then David wins over Christmas, and
That
then
would-
you just like you'd be. I think you'd be happy then.
Yeah. I can't even imagine those two in the house together for a week.
Yeah, what
just
even
those
would
two?
happen? What would be the conversation?
I don't know. That would be so awkward. I
haven't
guess
even
it's
seen them
three
speak to each
people. I
other.
forget.
I don't. Oh yeah.
It's 3 people in the house. But anyway.
They would just be talking about movies that came out in December. They'd be like, "Oh, did you see Parasite?" Like, all they do for a week.
Yeah. So then there was the veto comp, which was very cool. It was
Oh
a
my
really neat
gosh.
comp, but I do want to talk about how incredibly cheesy Big Brother can be sometimes. Sometimes it's fun cheesy, and sometimes it's this. Where they zap people away from the living room.
I love it.
I like how like
I hate it so much.
Like Cody really committed to the joke a little bit.
But like CBS,
I think they're self-aware. I think they know it's like Tim and Eric-y. I think they know. I love it.
I don't
like how
think
an Elvira voice announces when power has been used.
Exactly. Like there's no way that they have a whole team of people and they don't know that it's funny. I think it's like tongue-in-cheek.
Of course. I'm not saying that they think that this was an amazing graphic. I'm saying stop making people who aren't actors act because they're not good. It was like watching Christmas act surprised. I was like, oh my God, I just want to throw up. I didn't like this week. I don't know if you guys can tell. I had a very hard time this week. I am angry with it. But what I did love was the veto comp.
It was so cool.
It was great.
It was great. I loved the way they looked in those little boxes. I loved how big the tweezers were. I loved how if you breathed, you could literally knock it all over.
Oh, that was the best moment of the whole thing.
I lost it. I was literally laughing out loud on my couch, like, because he was like so ready and like really like, like just the way that Tyler breathed in. And like was trying to relax his hand and his body, and it just all blew over.
And the fact that like Tyler could have gone home this week because of a breath.
Yeah.
His like number one mistake this week could have just been a breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really great comp. I can't wait to see like what other renditions of this comp we have in the future.
Yeah, it was
season.
It was a very cool comp. It was also a very interesting. Da'Vonne ended up winning, which was very interesting, and finally she won something. And it was a big long week of whether or not she was going to use the veto. It was a very stressful couple of days, especially for Danny. And I'm not a big fan of Danny this season. I think she's playing pretty ugly, but I will say it's gotta suck to have to put up 4 people. Like that's hard.
Was Danny part of the group that made fun of Ian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just had to know whether I should reserve my no, because I actually have I'm kind of find myself like slightly pro Danny, but that's the only thing. Like knowing that, I'm like no. But
that's how I feel sometimes too. I'm like, oh, she's kind of like so evil that sometimes I'm into it.
Like at least she's trying something as opposed to the rest of the committee who's just not trying. They're skating by.
Yeah. Yeah, well, but she was lost. I mean, she was dealt just like the worst possible cards this week.
Well, and also let's just be a little bit clear on them making fun of Ian. It wasn't all 3 of them making fun of Ian. It was Memphis talking about Ian, about being scared that Ian's going to wake him up by rocking over his bed. So Memphis makes this joke. It's a distasteful joke, right? We can all agree to that. Nicole and Danny laughed at the joke. And now Nicole's lost all her sponsors for laughing at a joke. I think that that's a little ridiculous, personally. She should have defended Ian, but at the same time, you're also in a house where you're trying to win $500,000. And if you're going to call out people that are also in your alliance, that are also... I don't know. I feel like we can give them a little bit of slack for being human beings.
I don't know if that was the only thing that happened, though. I mean, I watched them talking about how annoyed they were with him rocking and how annoying it is. And
that was Danny, though.
To stop. Yeah. And
but
so
not Nicole.
I guess, to me, I think I would rather be the good person if I'm an all-star on my set. Like, I just don't know. I don't know why you would. I don't know why it's like so worth it to you. Just it says something about your personality to like be more into the money than like defending someone.
Especially if you've already won and the other person is supposedly a very close friend.
That's kind of what I mean by the all-star thing. It's like you've already won this. You've already done this. Like, what are you gonna lose right now besides like
in terms of the sponsorship thing? It's like, you can say that that's overkill, but like, it's just sponsorship at the end of the day, and I don't like, you know, she can get a job if she needs to. It's not like ruining her life to not have L'Oreal sponsoring you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just says something, and I think, like, if you're a good person, at the end of the day, if you're a good person, you say something, or you say, like, I don't think that's that funny. And I don't think that's that hard to say.
No,
it is fair. It is fair that being in the house also pressures you. Like it's totally fair to say that the pressure of the house, because like this is sort of like this crazy, like people call it a social experiment, and so like you can say yes, all this pressure is amped up in a different way and we do have these like very human urges to like. You always like just naturally try to blend into a pack that you're in.
Yeah.
And the higher the pressure, the more pressure there is to do that. So that's like a totally fair argument to make. But like at the end of the day, I'm not totally worried about Nicole.
I'm not worried about her either. I just wish that as a fandom, Big Brother would understand that we are getting a glimpse into these people's everyday lives that are very heightened, and that they are still human. And these people that are on Twitter that are basically, I mean, they're trying to destroy these people's lives. They're going on Christmas's Yelp and saying that she hates Black people.
And they're waiting for things like someone saying a word that starts with N-I.
Right. They're waiting for
claim
something
that
like
that's what they're saying. They're waiting for things that maybe aren't even happening in order to do that. And then that's where it's like, wait, but you're the one waiting for, you're the one like, wanting someone to say that. So then where does that make you lie?
And that's all it is. It's just kind of like, remember that we're all human, and that humans do make mistakes, and that if Memphis says the N-word, get his ass out of there. He's gone. If they're going to laugh at Ian to his, like, if laughing at Ian for being autistic is not okay at all in any scenario. But living with somebody that if you've never been around like an autistic person, and you live with this person and they are rocking constantly, I can see it being a little difficult to have a conversation with them. I can see that. So I can see that conversation happening. And I just don't feel like it's, I don't know. I don't think they went.
It's not like helpful. It's not helpful to punish someone that just doesn't understand something. You should like help them learn from that. And like, so, you know, in some perfect world, Nicole would have been, you know, so well versed on her friend.
Yeah.
That she would have been able to like pipe in and be like, well, actually, the real scientific reason for whatever. But like, that's not a perfect world.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I guess I have such a hard time when you like invite this, you know, it is this cultural problem of us like spending so much time picking apart every piece of media that we see, trying to get, you know, so angry about it that you again like feed into this pastime of just being angry online. So like that's a huge cultural problem. It's a huge cultural problem that Big Brother is designed in a way that makes these people succeed.
Yes. Yeah.
But then like, and then like the third side of this for me is that like they are fully choosing to go into a place where they are surrounded by cameras constantly, and they're choosing a life where this very like tense thread of public opinion determines your whole career essentially and your potential to make money.
Especially when your career is an influencer.
That is a risky business. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
If you want a stable career, I don't know, like be a nurse or something.
Well, and honestly, that's kind of my argument for why I was fairly certain that Memphis did not say the N-word, because he's an older guy. Whether or not he uses that term in his everyday life, that I don't know, because I don't know the guy. But I do know that he owns a bunch of restaurants. And so he's a professional person. And you cannot use language like that in a professional setting. So I know he knows how to filter himself. He has to. So let's just say he said the N-word all the time at home. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
when he's in a meeting about his restaurants, he's not going to, because he's smarter than that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have that many restaurants. He wouldn't have money to have restaurants and all of that stuff. So when he goes on Big Brother and he's in the setting 24 hours a day, I just think he would understand and he would know to filter himself, which is why I was like, there's just no way. There's no way he said that.
And with the Nicole thing too, like, so, I can't remember which one of you was saying this, but it's like, yeah, you would hope that there would be a moment to be able to, like, a learning moment. And I think with that, what's happening is just that they can't, no one in the house is teaching them not to do it. So, like, in that moment, none of them maybe had the vocabulary or knowledge to know that that was wrong or how to talk about it. Yet the people at home watching were like, whoa. And so if we were in there, that would be a moment we could, you know, whoever could be like, this is not okay because of this, and this is a moment for you to learn. And then maybe, we don't know, Danny and Nicole and Memphis might be like, whoa, you're right. You know, we don't know. But because we can't jump in the house and they can't hear us yelling on Twitter from outside the house, people just get angry, and it just gets like bigger and bigger because we can't reach them. And so people are frustrated because they can't stop them.
Yeah.
I think it just like snowballs like that. And I'm sure once they get out of the house, like, of course, I'm sure we'll get a big apology and all of that. Hopefully, they also learn a little something. You know? So, like, ideally, they would get called out for it and, like, maybe have some consequences for it. But, like, then everybody else is just, like, bullying them in their own way.
Yeah.
And it's just like they take it too far and then, like, twist stories like the $3,000 to go to her wedding and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That isn't helpful.
Yeah, it's not helping the cause.
It's not helping, yeah.
Anyway,
we can move on.
Why don't we lighten the mood a little bit, okay?
Yeah. All right, Julie Chen. So, okay. So this week, Julie Chen was wearing. Okay, where do I even begin? She was wearing leather pants that, she was wearing boots, and leather pants, but I couldn't tell where one ended. I couldn't tell.
Me either.
It was the same thing, or maybe they were connected.
I hope they were connected.
I really, really hope they were connected.
Because that's...
I could not tell if they were like really tall boots, or if they were really short boots and long pants. But regardless, shiny leather, or maybe pleather, I don't know. And then she was wearing a black lace top that I think was like maybe see-through. And then she was wearing this, I don't know what you call it, like a shrug, a half robe.
No, I thought it was a blazer.
I would call it blazer.
Like a silk blazer.
But it's that like light, that very,
Yeah, it's like a flowy blazer, like a non-structured blazer.
Yeah.
That looks like it was the graphic on it was designed by the same graphic designer that designed the house. Because, like, you know, the stars, it like looks like the same. It's just wild. It's like all these different patterns. I think I don't know what print that is. Like, I can't tell if it's like
Ellen, talking to you, Mike. Yeah, you like went off to the side and it got weird.
Sorry. I can't tell if this print is. I don't know what this print is.
It's a couple different prints.
Yeah.
It was on the back. It was 3 different. Like.
I didn't see the back
view. I didn't see the back view. Yeah, it looks like maybe like I kept thinking, oh, is this snake skin? Is this like a Rorschach, or like when you paint in kindergarten on a piece of paper and you stick another piece of paper on it and pull them apart?
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. Kind of. I couldn't identify the pattern. But regardless, it does look like it was designed by the Big Brother graphic designer. And then she was wearing
a saber tooth.
The star of the show is obvious, which is a long chain with a saber tooth, which is something I was gonna say like I haven't seen since, and then I realized I've never seen anybody wear this before, like except for maybe on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It was very, very interesting choice. And then her cross necklaces and la-di-da, everything else was like pretty much wears like the same thing for the most part, but changes up the outfit. So the jewelry usually, I think, stays the same. I keep saying like, and assorted bracelets. But it's looks the same.
What about her hair? Her hair was different last night.
Her hair was different. It was like half up, half down, curly.
I kind of liked it.
I kind of liked it. It was a really interesting outfit. I didn't like the top underneath the blazer.
Yeah.
I didn't like the pants and shoes or the combo is not my style.
The pants weren't tight enough.
Yeah, it didn't look great.
If they were more like leggings, I feel like that would have really pulled everything together a little bit more.
Yeah, something was not right about the fit of the pants and the top. I didn't even hate the blazer thing. I mean, it was
actually kind of liked it.
I kind of liked it too. I think it's a wacky print, but
yeah,
especially to pair with leather and lace.
She literally had every texture.
She was every design element, all of them. But I would say of what did we decided a saber tooth?
Yeah, I think we're doing saber tooth.
I would give this maybe a 2.4 saber tooth.
2.4 saber tooth necklaces. I like it. All right, Miss Julie Chen. Okay, so last night was the live eviction. It's a Thursday. I noticed that Kevin used a term in the DR early on in the episode where he said he was talking about being sick of the block voting. And I had never heard that term before. And I liked it.
What does it mean?
I think what he meant was when the whole house is voting together. And how he's sick of the block voting. And I was like, oh, I like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I vibe with it.
Yeah, it was good.
So one thing, this always bothers me, and I know that we're just catching little glimpses of their conversations, and then they have a conversation, and then they go and have another one, because that's all they're doing all day. All they're doing all day is talking. So I do understand that, but what I don't like is Nicole and Danny, I don't like how when they were chatting in this episode, they were talking about how there was no other choice. What could they possibly do? And what they could do if they voted Tyler out, like Danny originally wanted to, like Nicole originally wanted to, then they could go and be over the committee. Because their whole fear is that, well, then we're breaking up the committee and we won't have the numbers. But if you can... God, I can't talk. Yeah. But you can actually use that. You keep Ian. You grab Ian, Nicole, Danny, David, Kevin, and Day, and now you're the big alliance.
Yeah,
then you have the numbers.
Ship, you're laying down a plank and going to the other ship.
Right.
They have to realize at some point they will be the targets of the committee once it gets to us. There's just naturally going to come a day where they are going to be on the chopping block because of this.
Totally. And instead they're just I cannot believe, and I know they gave her kind of a nice edit on the show, but I cannot believe that Nicole voted Ian out. I can't believe that.
They gave a nice edit on the show, but I didn't buy it. Speaking of bad actors,
yeah,
I don't think that those were real tears.
No.
I think they were tears for herself, knowing how she would come off, frankly.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I don't think she cared that much. It's all of a sudden she was actually best friends with him in the house, which I actually didn't really feel like that was the case the whole season. And she just all of a sudden started saying that this week. But
that's true, yeah.
I felt like they were an alliance, but I didn't think that they were best friends.
That's true, yeah. I would say Danny's her best friend. They're
connected. It was weird, and I was just you're suddenly using this, and I see how it could probably convince just a casual viewer who's not looking that deep into it, but I don't. Yeah, I think that was just all a show. Well, not that I'm not trying to just hate on Nicole, but I don't really think that was super genuine.
No, I would agree with that, but and also in the DR, she said the timing is right to get Tyler out. She said that she had a gut instinct. She's played this game before. She's won this game before. And there's a time to get people out. And now is the time to get Tyler out. So what does she do? Vote out Ian. What?
And I don't know why she, like, the whole thing was like, oh, I don't want to upset Danny. And it's like, I want to mess with Danny's game. But it's like, if you think this is the best choice for your game, you should do it and let Danny figure it out.
Right.
I don't know. There's just something about that that's like, it's kind of a theme. I think it's kind of like a new player or a new, what was the term? Not a new school.
New school
way of playing is just like not upsetting anybody. And it's like, no, but you're in the house to win for you.
Right.
Like, you and Danny aren't going to split the $500,000 in the end, right? So then why?
Right.
I don't know.
Can we also talk about why Kevin has a blankie?
Yeah, it's over his shoulder all the time. It looks like a toga.
I did not notice that.
Oh my God, he brought it into the DR to vote.
Brought it in the DR, yeah.
But he literally doesn't let that thing go. Like,
He kind of probably needs it. He's just very, very sensitive. And he's just like, oh, it's like his comfort.
yeah, it's just, oh, weird.
Oh,
And
Kevin.
I think what kind of, and I guess I've said this a lot in this episode, so I apologize, but what really irritated me was that Ian had no idea what was going on, even though people told him what was going on. But they weren't the people that he wanted to align with, so he didn't believe it. Kevin told Ian, they're not going to vote for you to stay. And Ian went and told Nicole, and then it's just like a whole thing that, like, Ian should be more perceptive than this. He's a very smart, he's a very intelligent guy. I expected more from him this week.
Yeah, I think by the end he did know because he was dressed up and Tyler was in athletic clothes.
Yeah,
I bet you next episode we'll see that like they all told him or something right before. It's just what I was thinking because he was fully dressed up and everybody and Tyler.
But he dresses up not that nice, but he dresses up for every eviction episode. Like he wears nicer clothes.
He wears athletic shorts and a t-shirt if they're going to do a athletic. They were all in athletic clothes. They were all in athletic clothes.
Last night?
Yeah.
I did not notice that. No, they weren't because Danny was wearing like a
Danny
nice...
She didn't have to compete.
She didn't have to compete. It was only Danny and Ian.
No, because Nicole was wearing like a nice shirt too. She was wearing a button-up shirt. They weren't in athletic clothes last night.
I think they were, but
I don't know. We'll have to go back and look.
They were at least ready to play something that was that might be messy. They weren't dressed up because they usually are either dressed to the nines, like it's an event, or they are ready for a comp. It's like they either expect it to be questions or they expect it to be like not questions.
Yeah. But I didn't.
But yeah, he was in the full suit, and Tyler. So that's what makes me think that he knew.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll find out.
It didn't look like he knew to me. And his interview with Julie Chen, which was very awkward, by the way.
Yeah.
Because of Julie, like she just.
I have a theory about this, but go ahead.
Everything that she was saying was very drawn out. There was long pauses, and I was like, Are her producers telling her to stretch this for time, or like what is happening?
Like, is she okay?
Yeah, like I literally was like, is she on drugs? Like what's going on here right now?
There were a lot of weird moments. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
There's that weird moment where right when she sat down with Ian, it like slowly transitioned back to Nicole crying inside just for like a solid 30 seconds because they clearly had something to set up for.
Yeah.
In the interview part, but like it just they're like, oh, just go back to the house for one second until we're like ready. So like that was already set off the whole mood.
Something weird happened with production there. One thing that I noticed though at the very end, so I was watching and I was very curious if she was going to do her thing where she tells the person who's evicted that Memphis is running the house. And so because I wanted to know if there's going to be a battle back. And
go ahead.
So Julie kind of set it up almost like she would when she's about to say, well, actually, the people in the house that voted against you are, but she didn't say it. She made a point not to. But then in the exit interviews, Tyler said it. Mm-hmm. But it's been known that you can choose to say what you want in the exit interview. So sometimes there's been times in the past where people have lied in the exit interview and been like, oh my God, I was fighting so hard for you not to go. just so that when that person gets to jury, they think that's the story, and then they vote for them in the end. And it can be used as a tool to manipulate someone, even though that person's out of the house, if that makes sense. So in my mind, I went through this whole thing. I was like, wait, so now there can't be a battle back? I thought there would be. And then I realized, oh, well, Tyler's allowed to say what he wants. So that's up to him. He revealed it. That was his choice. Mm-hmm. And I think that Julie had on her card, I don't think that Julie necessarily knows what the exit interviews say. I don't think she necessarily watches them beforehand. And my theory is just that she had on her card the question, who do you think is running the house? But Tyler had just revealed it.
Possibly.
Anyways, that's my big theory for last night.
Because they're going to jury, Julie's not I don't think that Julie is going to ever tell them about the alliance anymore. Because they can't have all that information in jury. They only get the episode. And I
think she was I don't think she was going to tell him. I think she was going to ask, who do you think? I think she had that question. All I'm saying is I think she had that question down. And so that's why at the end she shuffled her cards. And I think it's because the question doesn't make sense since Tyler had just kind of said it.
It would reaffirm that was the truth to Ian if she had asked that question.
Exactly. I don't know. When you watch back, I watched it again and then I was like, I think I'm right. Like, she just has this look like the question I have doesn't make sense kind of thing. But
it was very cute that she seemed very smitten with Ian.
That was
like cute. She was like,
seemed like you're cool.
yeah, she seemed a little starstruck, and it hit me. I didn't realize, but she's like, you've never been out here with me.
Oh,
you've never been evicted from the Big Brother house, and I was like, oh, poor Ian.
Yeah, he's never watched exit interviews before.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Exit
No, they're called
that's like what you do when you leave a job.
Goodbye messages.
Goodbye messages.
All right, well, that's kind of all I had for that episode. I mean, it was annoying that we couldn't see who won HOH. Like, usually we do. Usually it's kind of a faster one.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it, though, for the past, 3, I want to say.
I know, and that's been annoying. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
So we don't know who's HOH. So next week is kind of up in the air. So we'll see what happens. If you listen to Ellen and I on our Wednesday live feed, I guess, recap. It's not even a recap. It's just us. Discussion, yes. Then we'll know by then and we'll be able to talk about it. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting week. Ellen, do you have a draft update for us?
Yes, I do. So you have 7 points, Sam has 7 points, and I have 4 points.
Ooh, so you're coming up.
My way up because of that Davon Vito win.
Nice. Well, good. All right. Well, we're moving right along here. I think again, I am at a place with this show where I'm annoyed with it, but I get like this every season. People that I don't want to be winning are winning, and then I start going like, well, I guess this person's not that bad. If they win, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then they still don't win, and I'm like, God, I just hate everything about this show. But
yeah, I'm trying to mentally prepare myself, and I'm slowly trying to work my way into really rooting for Enzo.
I really like
Enzo.
Great.
I think he's in a great position, and Davon I love with all of my heart, but things aren't looking great for Davon in general in the house, or like any of that side of the house. Things just don't look great.
Yeah.
So hopefully things change this week. Hopefully the other side of the house wins HOH, but if not,
but they're also not very good at comps.
I'm also preparing what?
They're not very good comps.
Yeah, so. The chances are pretty slim. But yeah, that's why I'm mentally preparing myself to root for Enzo.
Yeah. Well, also I was thinking about Danny's power just real quick, and of course she's not going to use it. She had the worst HOH ever. You think she wants to go back up there and now put 2 more people on a block?
And then on top of that, show everyone that she's winning comp.
Yeah,
repeatedly. It's just not.
She's not going to use that
great
thing.
I didn't not use it. It was maybe her best move so far.
Yeah, she's like, nah. Well, any last thoughts, you guys, for next week?
Oh, I'm hoping for a David HOH.
That would be oh God!
I want Davon to see her kid, but I also, for entertainment's sake, I just want David to win an HOH.
Me too. I really, really
Yeah,
do. So,
I say that every week. I think that's the last thing I say in every episode.
but like,
Here's where you realize that it's pre-recorded.
yeah.
It's part of the conversation.
But yeah, I do really, really hope that he wins an HOH. That I just want to see what he does because he's a little power hungry. He's very strange, and he holds his cards close, but he's also not good at doing that. So like, it would be very fun to see what he does when he's in full power. All right, you guys. I want to thank everybody for joining us here at House Meeting Podcast. Thank you to Daniel for supporting us on Patreon. We really, really appreciate it. And people like you that keep this podcast alive. So thank you so much. And thank you, Ellen and Sam. We are going to see you guys all at the next House Meeting. All right, we're done.
Ooh, okay.
It is so hot in this room. Oh my god. Also, you guys know who's HOH, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fucking stupid. I'm so pissed off.
I bet CBS is like, oh no.
Oh no.
Seriously.
Because like even if he didn't say it, it just looks so bad.
Yeah.
It looks so bad.
Yes, he'll nominate Kevin and David.
Yeah.
probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's literally the same week over and over and over and over again.
I
But
was telling my sister Sam that I my only hope is that he's like so mad at Nicole for like having rooted for Ian
Right.
Day all week, and he's such a like be true to the alliance guy that I'm hoping that he just wants to get her out because at least then something interesting will happen. We were so close to something interesting happening.
I know.
Like I
Yeah,
even
but-
like Tyler, and I don't.
Me too.
I want him to go.
I actually wanted
Yeah.
Tyler to win HOH because I was like, if any of those people are gonna do something, it's Tyler.
Yeah, he might get out Danny or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. When do they do noms like for real? Today? Today?
I think it's usually quick.
Yeah, it's
Noms
very
are quick. Then veto is like
Forever.
forever.
I think noms are today, so that'll be
think they're
interesting.
today, yeah.
But I mean, it won't be interesting.